since American audiences haven't had a chance to see this play yet, can you describe it for us briefly?
On various levels, it's a love story between the most incongruous pair of lovers, if you like, although there is never any physical contact between a very old, fairly old man. I have to say fairly old because I'm in my 70s. This man is probably 80, so he's not that old. And a very young girl. She's probably in her early 20s.
In Sugar Daddies, I play character Sasha Vines. As he starts to shower her with gifts and attention and money, her personality starts to change. And so it's a sort of mutual fantasy of what their friendship is.
He is someone you're not quite sure of. He seems to be a wonderfully just benign fatherly figure, but there are dark parts of his past that come up throughout the play.
And it's really a cautionary tale. You take things from strangers at your peril. What's the payback? When's the payback due? And she, much to the fury of her sophisticated urban sister, half-sister, she begins to gather beautiful clothes and she goes to the best restaurants and she swans around London. She goes to the opera on the first nights, and this old man is charming. But as we go on, we learn more and more where he got his money from, which was from big wholesale crime, and you begin to go quite fear for this girl. It's a little version of the Faust legend, really. Where do you sell your soul? Is Sasha's soul really in danger?
Although my character in this play is not out to become a sugar baby, that's, I guess, the technical term, she is benefiting from it and is still coming up against the prejudices of people looking at her a certain way and thinking that she is this sort of gold digger, and what it means to start to buy into a fantasy of being someone you're not.
It's Ayckbourn at his best, and he's just such a wonderfully terrific, brilliant writer.
It seems there's this darkness and light sort of on a sliding scale in a lot of your work.
Yeah.
Is that something you consciously inject, or is that how your humor and pathos sort of combine in plays like that?
I used to write in the very early days, 60 or 70 plays ago. I've just written my 77th, so it's quite a long way away. I've got a big back catalogue. But in the early plays, they were unashamedly light comedies. But very soon, I began to explore human nature, if you like. I left the situation behind, and I began to write about people. Once you start to write about people, you go deeper, and under most people, there is a sort of sadness, and sometimes quite tragic sadness. And so that crept into the work. And then I swung into incredibly dark plays, which nobody wanted to see. And I think I've now swung back again, trying to be objective, but and my feeling is now you can't have light without shadow.
All of the characters are actually striving to be good people and to do the right thing, but it's our desire to please and to be everything to other people that creates all of this conflict. So it has brought up a lot of conversations about our expectations of women, our expectations for women to be fragile or naive, and how much do we take advantage of that if that's the way we're treated, and when is it that we have to stand up for ourselves and have self-ownership? Sometimes
You leave the audience not knowing whether to laugh or cry, and that's interesting. Yes, and one guy came out in Scarborough, and they're quite blunt and plain-spoken in Yorkshire, and he said, "If I'd known what I was laughing at, I wouldn't have laughed." And I said, "Oh, that's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me."